Hello, everyone. Welcome back from Las Vegas. Lucky Chewy here. I'm somewhat unsure of how to proceed regarding the content that I put out, but I'm just going to kind of let it flow and see where it takes me. Um, I was having a really fun interaction last night with my brother and a couple of our friends, and we had some interesting uh, topics that were being discussed kind of about consciousness and reality, the nature of reality, um, what things are creation of our minds, conscious, subconscious, or unconscious for that matter, and what sort of the governing principles are of our reality. And definitely one of the things that was discussed was the idea of simulation theory and how that relates to um, sort of a ones and zeros matrix type code uh, that exists within our world and that we can alter with our thoughts or intentions or actions, uh, beliefs. I guess actions kind of the most important thing. If anything, I would say taking action on something is a way to um, actually create the change in the world as opposed to having it be less substantial. But I guess that's up for debate, and certainly not something I'm super confident about. But it was interesting. It was thought provoking, and one of the things that came up in the discussion that I brought up this topic, I was kind of saying how I think as time progresses and humans continue to evolve, well, I feel two main things will happen, at least in the foreseeable future. One, I think, is that AI will take a much larger place in our world and substantially change the way in which we interact with our environment. I think it'll definitely help. There will be a learning curve, I imagine, where certain people will be out of jobs. It's just kind of the way it is. You know, certain jobs won't be necessary, but I don't think that's a bad thing because I think AI will lower cost of living and allow for the people who were pursuing jobs, somewhat menial jobs where the skill set needed to complete that task isn't something you have to really train for or become, so to say, an expert at it. Um, I think it will allow those people to pursue other professions or other passions where they're able to creatively express themselves or just do things they love. And that's kind of, being an optimist, kind of the way I see things playing out in some sense. It's obviously, impossible to predict the future and uh, even talking about it. I mean, it's such a nuanced situation. It's just a general overview of one aspect of the way things may progress that I see. And somewhat alongside that view, I think greed will, and greed, I'm using the term, in the excessive sense, greed and selfishness, hoarding, I guess, for lack of a better way to put it. I feel like these are qualities that will, in a sense, be bred out of humans as we continue to evolve and uh, unify as a whole, as humanity. Um, I just think that it's going to become evident enough that individuals who act in a way that is purely self-serving, as they say, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And, acting in a purely self-serving way isn't good for the goose or the gander. And, it was kind of my opinion that these qualities will, over time, not exist anymore. Yeah, that's the optimist in me speaking. I'm sure others have different opinions, but it just kind of makes sense to me. I don't see how something that is detrimental to the individual and the whole can continue to exist for the rest of time. If there's one thing I know about life, it's that in many ways, change, is something you can definitely rely on. Not to say you know exactly how things will change, but just the general idea of change. Yeah, kind of just wanted to put that out there. I think that's about all I have to share for right now. I'll continue to think of interesting things to put out, but yeah, I really appreciated the positive feedback and the encouragement, and yeah, hope everyone's doing well. Much love. Peace.